Both.
Did you confront her with web searches that were done on her phone?
Yes.
I'm going to jump to that portion of the interview, and this is 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 52 seconds through 2 hours and 10 seconds.
Because you know in here I even have what you entered in your phone. The stuff that you've entered and deleted. Like blood is spurting from an arterial bleed, direct pressure not controlling.
Do what? I didn't look this up.
It's from your phone.
Blood is what?
Spurting from an arterial bleed.
No.
Somebody did from your phone. I don't like my stepson.
No.
I don't like my stepson. Should I get a divorce? Stalk cheating. I'll stalk Instagram. I'll stalk cheating in Colorado Springs. Catch I'll stalk cheating. How to get blood out of sheep.
Out of sheep?
Mm-hmm. I want immunity.
The blood out of sheep was because we always had, always nosebleeds. If I ever looked at blood out of sheep, it was nosebleeds.
And I figured it might be something.
I didn't ever look up anything about an artery or something unless it went from something else.
It's on your phone.
And I never looked up anything about my stepson unless someone else did it.
The reason I brought up gangs is you looked up, I want immunity because it was gang related. And this sounds like, find me a new husband, find me a rich guy who wants to take care of his kids.
The new husband is just because Albert already knew that was about the lady, Debbie Sherrill, who wanted to find a new husband after 35 or something. He picked me about Amazon.
And like a lot of these can have nothing to do with this.
It doesn't.
I get it. Can I spray paint wood?
Spray paint wood? Well, we always spray wood.
Yeah. I'm doing all the work for my stepkids and their mom doesn't help.
Oh, that bothered me. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame
Oh, yes, because I wanted them to be mine. Like
what about
me to be their child.
Hit and run? You Googled a lot on Letecia and traffic accident, hit and run.
I didn't hit anybody.
No? What was that?
What date was it?
I don't have a date on these. I was downloading stuff as I was coming on the plane.
Yeah, no.
My husband wants a divorce. My husband wants a baby, but I want an abortion. One day, some people will wish they treated you differently, which I get that. Parenting should be for people, not one. Suppose a suicidal person might say. I mean, these make me very sad when I read them because I can see you're doing all the work at home by yourself.
Which I wanted to be there. Like, I wanted to totally have the kids as my children. That's the point you're not getting. Like, I wanted those kids to be saying to me that I'm their mom.
Yeah.
Like, I am the person who does it, cares for them, loves them, everything. So you can think that.
What do you do if you suspect a person swallowed poison? Did somebody actually swallow poison?
Poison? I don't know. I always click things and read them.
Did somebody swallow it?
No one swallowed any poison.
You will never forgive me and treat me like a princess. You'll never know when it's too late.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always search for things in Albert.
So in that particular portion, you mentioned the immunity. Was there a particular phone calls during the consensual recorded phone calls process where she was also saying the same thing to Al in those phone calls?
Yes, there was. It was one of the earlier phone calls I was involved in.
Did you ask her to describe what injuries Gannon suffered a little bit later after this?
Yes.
I'm going to jump to timestamp 2 hours and 50 seconds. And play through 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 55 seconds.
Everything.
If you're not willing to go with who took Gannon, can you at least tell me what injuries he suffered? The true ones? As far as the cut foot, was that a legit injury?
Yes.
And where did that happen?
Oh, he was outside in the garage, and when he was outside in the garage, he was running to go help me take the trash. Take the trash out, come back and help me get stuff out of the car, and then he stepped on something, which I left the blood there. Like, I left it, like, because Albert said, "Don't touch that fine wood or African wood, whatever kind of wood it was.
What did the piece of wood look like? Okay. And it's still there in the garage?
I had to drive over them all the time. Like, I always had to drive over the pieces of wood.
Right. But
Right.
you didn't take that out of the garage?
It's too big. You couldn't fit it in anything. You couldn't have fit the pieces. The long boards that were in the garage, you could not fit. I left. Okay, so there was the piece of board that I threw in the back of our truck, and then there was the two long boards that were sitting there. So the board that was about like this size, and the board that was the long boards that were sitting here. I left the long boards because that was supposed to be the fancy wood, and I didn't want to avoid or trying to get the blood off of it. The other piece of wood was the wood that I threw in the back of Albert's truck.
And what was that one?
There was a bunch of pieces that were laying around that from that night, from us running through there. It was like little pieces. There was a piece about this size, maybe a couple pieces. But
And
that
you threw it in the back of the truck? That bigger piece?
you said bigger like this. It wasn't that big.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cheap wood. Like, I knew it was not the wood that he would be freaking out over. So from Sunday, he did hurt his foot from Sunday.
And how badly was it bleeding?
It wasn't. I say Sunday, Saturday, I'm sorry. From Saturday. Albert had just left, like, to drive to the airport. He wasn't even gone long.
Mm-hmm.
He had just left to drive to the airport.
Okay. So,
So-
did it require a Band-Aid? Or?
You know, whenever he always does something, he tries to be like, he's not like Lena where he's like, oh, I need a Band-Aid or whatever. Gannon would literally walk around with toilet paper in the middle of his toe, and it would have blood or whatever, and just run everywhere to his room or whatever.
Yeah. So what did you do on this occasion?
We literally took the paper towel, that's why I just told you about the toe,
Uh-huh.
and put it in between.
So it was in between his toes is where the injury
No,
was?
it was like wrapped here.
Okay.
We had it wrapped. And I don't remember if we got a Band-Aid, to be honest. This is what Gannon.
So that doesn't sound like a big injury. then.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, there was no big injury. I left it on the wood because I said, I'm not going to clean his fine African wood.
What did it look like on the wood? Drops? Streaks?
Well, what I did originally was I was trying to take water to do it, but then I realized if I put cleaner, then that wouldn't do anything but cause the wood to damage, because Albert always wanted to build things with all the wood that we bought.
Oh, I saw it.
And if I use those pieces of wood and all that stuff, then, you know.
Did you ever use that shop vac to clean up anything out there?
No, I never used the shop vac. The shop vac was never, I couldn't even like move anything with the shop. Anything that would have been used with the shop vac would have been Albert, other than the times that we brought it, which would have been weeks ago, and we did spring cleaning or fall cleaning around the house, in the corners. So that would have been the shop vac. There was nothing I ever did and vacuumed up something with a shop vac.
Right,
Like,
that helps me. I
you
just
know,
asking.
like any of that.
Right.
There none of that ever happened.
So the burns on the arms weren't that bad. The cut on the toe or the bottom of the foot wasn't that
And
bad.
we still were able to go hiking. He was able to still go
Right.
hiking. It was bleeding on the board.
But
we
not
never
after
did.
that, not over the house, that sort of thing.
Well, he had the piece of paper and went down to his room.
Yeah.
Like wrapped around his foot. So I mean, if anything, there could have been drops of blood or something. No.
What about the wound to the head that you talked to Al about?
So Albert was like trying to get me to say whatever, because I'm sure you guys are having to do that. I knew that's what he was doing. So Albert was trying to get me to say that, like talk to him about, you know, like or you know, whatever. So I threw off some stories to Albert because he was making me so upset, just like everyone not understanding that intervention flips from here. And there's someone intervening in this. And that's where people didn't understand and want to say anything. So I just started rambling stuff to Albert. And I even said to you guys, hey, I know you're listening. You know, and it was just to be whatever.
But do you know what that sounds like, though, to a dad who's missing his kid? And then you say, and a previous head wound happened to where it was blood running down his face and that sort of thing. And, it, you know, had to bandage it up. And
Well, I don't remember saying anything about bandaging up.
I think he said Quincy Brown tried to bandage it up.
Oh, because he was making me mad about something, yeah. I was gonna say, I don't remember me saying I did that.
So he did suffer a head wound, though. We know.
Head-
Yes, head or neck.
Okay.
And that is what caused the blood there. And so, even if you choose not to tell us where Gannon is today because you're too nervous or whatever else, we would like to know where that was on him. So if we find him on our own, if you've given me the clues to go find him, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that wound?
Gannon is alive.
He's alive, fine, but where was that wound? Was it his neck or his head?
I don't know anything about a neck or head.
Well, you had to clean up the wall. You went ahead.
That was not, that is not even from what you're talking about there had nothing to do with anything from Saturday, Sunday, and whatever. That had nothing to do with any of it.
How could it not?
It did
There
not.
was a lot of blood.
It did
And
not.
You're going to have to explain that.
Sir, it did not.
Well, just tell me how.
It did not. I promise
But
you.
you're not going to tell me how. So where we can help you with it.
You're not going to help me, though.
How could I not help you? How are you going to get up, Letecia, on the stand after telling all these stories, which we're going to ask you about, and then say, I can explain all that, and it's some party that I never told law enforcement to go chase? If Gannon is alive, we have an 11-year-old kid somewhere being held against its will, and you're not telling us. You might as well have done this yourself. That's why I'm saying.
Let me hold you again. I'll right there. I'll just put it
It's
there.
fine.
Hey,
So I've paused it at 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 55 seconds. What did she write down in your notebook?
I just remembered the first part, that the head wound was on Saturday.
You remember it saying, and had nothing to do with this?
Words to that effect, yes.
What was your take on that? That instead of saying it on the camera, she wanted to write it down in your notebook?
Well, whether it's by now, whether it's the argument that she didn't want to talk about the burns, and even calling Gannon in as absent, I wasn't pushing her. I would give her the opportunity to talk, and then she would not talk, so I would move on. And now that we're to the blood and what happened in the room, I think it was too difficult for her to say it out loud with the head wound.
When she's going over the wound to the head, and then she actually says she just started throwing out stories because Al was making me mad. You remember
Yeah,
that
I do.
portion? What were your thoughts on that particular part of the interview?
Well, that was consistent with what she was telling Al on the phone calls. And Al would continue to push her like, we need to find Gannon. And then she would say, what about our relationship? So she would move from finding out what happened to Gannon to her feelings. And that's what she was doing here again.
Is this also an example of her blaming others for her behavior?
Yes.
Did you ask her about blood being found in the back of her Volkswagen Tiguan?
Yes, I did.
Okay, we're going to play that portion next. And Judge, just as I'm watching the time, is there a time that you want me to shoot for a break?
3:10,
Okay,
something like that.
I'll just watch the clock on that.
All right.
This next section picks up from here and goes through 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 57 seconds.
About the blood in the back of the Tiguan.